say, how well do you know Charles Carpenter?
Well, not too well, but I'm working on it. Why do you ask?
Well, between you and me, I'd keep my eyes open.
You know, that's interesting. You're not the first person that hinted that Charles Carpenter might have some kind of a flaw in his character.
Flaw? That's the nicest thing I've ever heard anyone say about Charles Carpenter. Well, anyway, I'm glad that you've got the Hollister Mall contract, but I wouldn't trust him if I were you.
Gene, this wouldn't have anything to do with Sam Marshall getting fired, would it? I know that Carpenter's attorney was involved in that.
Sorry, Commissioner, maybe I...
Oh, no, don't take that wrong, Gene. I simply didn't think you were talking about him. You were just doing it to help me.
Yeah. Okay, well, just keep your guard up, that's all.
Young man, what's that grin for? Because your mama let you have breakfast over here this morning?
That's part of it.
Well, you have to tell me what side of the bed you get up out of on, because I like to look like that, too.
Grandma, did you know Mom and Dad are getting back together?
What?
It's true, they are.
Well, hold it right there, Mr. Know-It-All. Now, how do you know that? Did your daddy tell you that?
Not exactly, but he took Mom out on a date.
What do you mean, on a date?
He took Mom out to eat. He told me so last night.
Oh, well, I don't think that meant anything, Jimmy. I think that you just...
There he is. Well, I gotta go. You ask him yourself. It's true.
What are you looking at me like I did something wrong?
Well, Jimmy just got to telling me that you and Carla have reconciled.
What? I never said that, boy. Jimmy! Hey, boy!
All you said was you took Carla to lunch?
That's right, that's all I said.
Well, it wasn't enough, Gene. Jimmy's reading a whole lot more into it.
Mama, now, you know the last thing I want to do is fill that boy's head with false hopes.
Well, just how false is that hope?
Now, wait just a minute there now. You know what the situation is. Now, in case I haven't said it enough, I will repeat. I have no plans of getting back together with Carla. Is that clear?
Yes, son, that's clear.
All right. I'll clear the rest of this up with Jimmy later on this afternoon.
All right. Well, Gene, why don't you come home for a little lunch? I can fix a little something for you right here.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like a welcome break from the junk food machines downstairs. Okay, I'll see you at 12 noon then, huh?
Okay. Bye, son.
All right, see you later.
Carla Redland's room, please. Hello, Carla. Have any plans for lunch today? Good. Why don't you come over and keep me company?
Testosterone, huh? Well, looks interesting. Is that any good?
Of course it's good. And I'll tell you something else. It doesn't say it in here. But the guy that invented this stuff retired at 38.
Well, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
What time is Prescott coming?
11:30. Hey, look. In the meantime, memorize as many of the facts and figures as you can that are in here so you can be more persuasive.
Well, why do I have to persuade him? Are you telling me that he can turn it down without the pressure?
Oh, no. It's just that he's a contractor, and all contractors resist change. Of course, that's because they're too dim-witted to keep up with technology.
Wait just a minute. He's an elected county commissioner. Somebody thought he was competent.
It's politics, Charles. Look, that's another disadvantage because Prescott won't be able to line any pockets around here if he's buying building products out of New Mexico.
I don't know. I got to tell you, I feel out of my element talking about the finer points of construction.
Well, that's what you get for supervising the project yourself. I mean, you should have kept on the architect for that.
But this represents a whole change in the architectural plans. That's different.
I don't know what you're so nervous for. I mean, it's all in there in black and white. Look, if you still have some doubts about it, why don't you get hold of my brother-in-law? Now, he told me that Turkey Snackers, Inc. built 3 new huts in Miami for the price of 2.
Well, that certainly sounds good. So much for Play-Doh Part 1. I'm glad that's settled. I have something else I want you to start.
Well, shoot.
I want to begin divorce proceedings against Helen immediately. I should have done this a long time ago. I waited too long.
Charles, I don't think you even know where she is, do you?
May I remind you that there are people in this world whose business it is to find other people
Well, you know I don't have time for that kind of thing. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Then hire somebody.
Well, you really are serious about this, aren't you?
In spite of the fact that I've asked you to handle it, yes, Harold, I am serious.
Yes. Oh, good morning there, Commissioner.
Hey, what do you say, Gene? How are you?
Oh, I'm just fine. So, what is this? You out overseeing your construction troops again, huh?
Oh, yeah, well, you know, that's just my favorite thing. I don't know whether it comes from being raised on a farm or not, but, you know, I just don't feel like I've done any work until I come home at night and wash off some dirt.
Yeah. So what can I do for you this morning, Commissioner?
Oh, here, take a look at this, Gene. I got a good man that usually helps me with this, but right now, he's out with a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah, I've heard about that. So how's Peter?
Oh, he's coming along fine. I sure miss him, though. Look here now. I wanted to double-check the location of this gas line before excavating.
Uh-huh.
See it running along here near the northern boundary?
Yeah.
Well, judging from the site, that's a sewer main, I think. See, could they have gotten the overlays reversed? Look at the way they're crossing over here.
Yeah,
See?
well, what do you know? They sure did. Gosh. Well, I'm glad somebody's sure alert.
Oh, well, that's an easy enough mistake to make, but it's a tough one to correct with a backhoe.
Yes, that could be some big consequences from that. Well, thanks, Commissioner. I will call the printing office this afternoon and get them to change that.
Oh, thanks a lot, Gene. And tell them one more like that, the county's going to be looking for another printer. What is that?
All right, I'll make that clear. Say, is there any chance that Peter might be coming back to work for you?
Well, I hope so. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
But, geez, I don't know if it's worth it. You know, his mother's very overprotective, and apron strings are a little out of place on a construction site.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, she's a little sensitive because she lost her husband and her mother in a car accident. And Peter's her baby.
Well, don't let him hear you saying that. But, you know, she made me feel guilty when she apologized for being overprotective.
That's Terry, all right. Yeah.
They're fine people. And, you know, I'd be hard-pressed to find a guy that's almost 18 years old and as conscientious and resourceful as Peter.
That's for sure. Say, one thing. I finished my work on the budget proposal for those new road construction signs. I was wondering if you had any time to take a look at that.
Oh, geez, I'd love to, Gene, but I got to see Charles Carpenter at 11:30. I'll tell you what, can you come by the office later on this afternoon before you leave?
Okay, yeah, sure. Say, how well do you know Charles Carpenter?
Well, not too well, but I'm working on it. Why do you ask?
Well, between you and me, I'd keep my eyes open.
You know, that's interesting. You're not the first person that hinted that Charles Carpenter might have some kind of a flaw in his character.
Flaw? That's the nicest thing I've ever heard anyone say about Charles Carpenter. Well, anyway, I'm glad that you've got the Hollister Mall contract, but I wouldn't trust him if I were you.
Gene, this wouldn't have anything to do with Sam Marshall getting fired, would it? I know that Carpenter's attorney was involved in that.
Sorry, Commissioner, maybe I...
Oh,
shouldn't have
no,
said
no,
anything.
don't take that wrong, Gene. I simply didn't think you were talking about him. You were just doing it to help me.
Okay, well, just keep your guard up, that's all.
Well, like I've always modestly said, the only way to get ahead of me is to walk in front of me. I'll see you later, Gene.
Yeah.
Leon?
Hey, sweet thing, what you doing down here?
I'm on my way to Mama's for lunch. Would you like to join us?
Oh, that's real nice, Carla, but I already made plans, and I'd hate to break another heart.
Okay, see you.
Hey, you can't be in that big of a hurry. Come on in here.
Well, I can't stay long.
Hey, I haven't held anyone prisoner in here since '68. I was just thinking about you this morning, wondering how things are going with you and Jean, the mean machine.
Sometimes, couldn't we talk about your problems, Leon?
Sure. Soon as I get some, and you'll be the first person I call. Now, lay some news on me.
Well, it's going fine. I mean, a lot better. At least Jean and I are speaking to one another, and we're not shouting anymore. I guess the shock has worn off, and Jimmy has a routine now that's normal, and we had lunch together yesterday.
Who, you and Mean Jean?
Uh-huh. And it was nice, too. You know, every once in a while, when he looks at me like that, I can't explain it, but all of a sudden, I remember why I married him.
That's good, you know. 'Cause people should never forget why they got married. Not if it had anything to do with love.
Had a lot to do with love.
Then how come you split for 2 years?
Fame and fortune. Haven't you heard the story?
Oh, yeah. Now tell me why I don't believe it.
Because you have twice the brains and half the ego that Mean Gene does. That's why you don't believe it.
Twice the brains and half the ego.
See you later.
Hey, don't say it.
Alligator.
Nice to see you, Jason.
Thank you.
I don't think you know my associate, Harold Webster.
I don't think so, Harold.
Congratulations, Commissioner Prescott.
Thank you, but around here, call me Jason.
Sure, okay. Well, Jason, I figure that Hollister Mall will be keeping you tied up for quite a while, huh?
Sit down, sit down.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind telling you that it was very gratifying to go by the site this morning and see that sign up and all that equipment ready to go.
Well, major project.
Yeah, tell me something. Can you drive one of those great big old yellow things?
Yeah, it's called a cat.
Yeah.
Can I get you a drink?
Oh, thanks.
Well, then let me explain why I called a meeting. Now, I'm sure that you're aware that our architect is not going to be supervising the construction.
Yes, I am.
Well, in my investigation of ways by which we can improve our cost effectiveness on the project, I found that the most promising discovery is an innovation in building materials.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of turkey snackers?
Turkey snackers?
Yeah, my brother-in-law is
Harold,
involved in it.
can we save that, please? As I understand it, the state of the art of construction calls for steel-reinforced concrete.
Yes, depending upon the purpose.
Well, our architectural plans call for massive use of reinforced concrete, but of course you already knew that.
I studied the specs.
Right. Now, in my further investigation, I found that a relatively unknown product not only reduces the need for reinforcement, it actually produces a concrete so inherently strong that it exceeds all existing standards.
And it's cheap.
Not only that, I did a little figuring. And this particular product I'm talking about will actually save us up to 1/3 the cost of our concrete.
It's so lightweight that they're doing prefab jobs out of it. I mean, they're shipping it all over the Western Hemisphere.
But it has not caught on here, though.
You're not referring to Testron, are you?
Yeah, you've heard of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm referring to.
Well, I hate to disillusion you, gentlemen, but I have heard of it, and I can't recommend it.
Wait just a second now. Before we reject it altogether, let me cite a few examples here where it's enjoying tremendous success.
Well, you won't find any tremendous success in the subtropics.
Well, Florida's not in the subtropics.
Gentlemen, I can see that you've been reading some material there. Unfortunately, it fails to mention the problems.
No, wait a minute. Actually, Jason, they've been very candid about the resistance that they've been meeting in the construction industry.
Yeah, I'm sure they have, but I don't think you understand the product. See if I can explain it to you in some sort of simple terms. You see, Testron is the original trademark name for a compound that's supposed to strengthen concrete. Now, it was originally derived from some Army refuse materials, and ironically, it does do the job at first. But I can cite you maybe 6, 8 different studies that show when high humidity or temperature are introduced, the Testron has a reaction, a chemical reaction to the concrete, which makes it not only weaker, but actually dangerous even under normal stress. And in your subtropical latitudes, the breakdown comes even quicker.
Well, how do you account for the fact that more than $50 million worth of Testron building block products were sold in the last 2 years?
Ignorance. Those structures won't last.
I don't mean to appear presumptuous, Jason, but may I ask what life expectancy any building can have nowadays with planned obsolescence? Hollister Mall could become history in 10 short years.
Yeah, but Mr. Carpenter, you don't build in obsolescence where people's lives are at stake. When you build, you have an obligation to those people. And whether they realize it or not, they put their faith in you every time they open the door and walk into your work.
Yes, but what you told us is just nothing but theory.
Well, then theoretically, 8 people were crushed to death in Nevada last December.
All of them because of Testron?
It's under investigation.
Yeah, but not yet proved. Is that what you're saying?
Gentlemen, let me make myself very clear on this issue. Now, Hollister Mall is a very lucrative prospect that any builder would be more than happy to have. But if what I'm seeing is your true attitude on cost effectiveness, then I think it would be best if you took me off the project right now.
Mr. Prescott, I presume?
Yes.
Vince Cardello.
How do you do, Mr. Cardello?
I apologize for my colleagues. You don't have to withdraw. Continue to use the finest materials as specified.
By all means, now that we know what the risk is.
Fine. Then we'll continue to break ground.
Good. Then do it.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. You know where to find me. Good day.
Lucky I dropped by, isn't it, Charles?
Mom! Hey, Mom, I'm home! It's open, Mama. Carla.
I'm sorry, I didn't expect to see you here. I thought...
Me too. I'm just home for lunch.
Oh, is she here? I'll just say hello.
I don't know where she is.
Well, I don't know what to do. Should I wait?
Carla, did Mom invite you over here for lunch?
Yeah, and I'm sure she meant today because she just called me this morning.
Yeah, I'm sure she meant today, too. She knew exactly what she was doing.
Well, are you going to wait for her?
Yeah, a couple of things I'd like to talk to her about. Come on and sit down. I think I owe you an apology.
Oh? For what?
Well, I think I made a mistake for seeing you yesterday. I think Jimmy took it to mean more than what I thought he would. Now he's got his hopes up, and maybe it was just a moment of weakness.
You mean when you told Jimmy?
No, I mean when I asked you out.
Well, I think your mistake was in telling Jimmy.
No, I don't hide anything from him.
You wouldn't be hiding anything from me, would you, Gene?
You know, why would it do any good? I mean, you've always been able to read me like a book.
Well, do you believe in reading between the lines?
Are you saying that my book should be read between the lines?
Sometimes that's where the real message is.
I see. Carla, I was just
Well,
wondering,
I wonder
maybe...
where Mama could be.
Yeah, me too.
All right, who wants to explain?
I will, and gladly. Never in my whole life, either personal or professional, was I ever so skillfully deceived.
Hey, no, wait a minute, Charles. You don't look at me that way. You saw this brochure. You read what it said.
As a lawyer, Webster, do you consider it adequate preparation to argue a case on the basis of an advertisement?
Wait a minute. It's a free country. Nobody forced you to endorse Killer Concrete.
I didn't endorse anything. I quoted only the information that you presented to me. You were the one who did the endorsement.
Oh, you think that I would have endorsed it if you hadn't pressured me into cutting corners? Save every penny you wanted me to do. You tighten the belt, he says. You tighten the belt.
Fiscal responsibility is one thing, fraud is quite another. I don't owe anybody any explanations for trying to employ sound management techniques.
Sound management techniques. When your contractor threatens to withdraw and quit before the ground is even broken?
It was entirely Webster's idea.
It was a suggestion, and only after you told me to cut corners.
I told you to cut corners, not essentials.
You're the responsible party, Charles. You are in charge. If you listen to Webster, that's your fault.
That's right.
Quiet! Gentlemen, please. Now, if I hear any more talk about cutting corners, we're going to have a reorganizational meeting here. Do I make myself clear? You two deserve each other. Have a nice day.
Hello? Mom, where are you?
Is she all right?
I'll come and get you. Mom, are you sure that they're gonna have your car fixed by this afternoon? Yes, yeah, oh, okay.
Is she having car trouble?
Are you ready for this? She said that the car overheated, now they're gonna have to put a new transmission in it, but not to worry because it'll take an hour.
What kind of car does she drive?
I don't know if she's mixed up or if she's making the whole thing up.
Well, why didn't you tell I was here?
Because she knows you're here. She's the one that set this whole thing up.
Don't be too hard on her. She meant well, bless her heart.
Bless her. Hey, Carla, well, I mean, since we're both here, how would you like to...
Yeah, I'd like to have lunch with you.
Good.
I thought you'd never ask.